good morning, evening, or afternoon, whichever one applies to you at this current point in time. Today, these are just some of the plumbing tools we're going to need to get that sink taken care of. Now, the reason I want to bring this to your attention is because as per Glacier Bay's instruction, some people might have plumber putty around their house to make those seals. If you have that, great, but Glacier Bay is asking for silicone, so do not use this. Grab yourself some silicone. I'm going to be using Loctite for this. It's clear. They also sell a white one. However, I just like the way clear doesn't really leave a mess. And you make sure it's waterproof. Cool? Fantastic. I'm going to leave a link to this one. It also comes with an applicator tip for a little over $6. As far as lights, the light that was in that bathroom was poor, so I had to bring a couple lights. I like my quantum pen. You know this. As well as a headlamp, because when you're under those tight sinks, you do not have a free hand to be doing stuff. Now, I love you so much that I was able to do some of it with a phone in one hand because I didn't want to have to keep switching the camera down and under and possibly getting this camera wet. So, yes. And finally, you're going to need to take off the aerator so that any blockages or damage that may be in the line, all of that comes up, little particles of plastic, anything like that, needs to be purged from the new faucet before you put the aerator back in. So it does come installed. This is a universal aerator tool that comes with the general sizes. They have the penny, the dime, and the quarter, so to speak. They do have specific dimensions, but it's reversible because they are either inner diameter or outer diameter. So whichever sink is the one for you, that's the one you're going to be using to take that aerator off. Sound good? Awesome. Now, let's get to it. Now, there's plenty you can do with 1 inch, but washing your hands is not one of them. The fact that this thing comes just out an inch past the edge of the sink means you basically have to brace your hands against the back to actually be able to immerse your hands under the water. That's unacceptable. I don't know who installed this, and the fact that the landlord actually approved this without inspecting or looking at what he's paying for is ridiculous. And as you can see, this is completely messy and not a place to be working, so we're gonna take care of this. That's looking much better. More often than not, you're gonna see that you actually have valves to stop the hot and cold right under your sink. If not, you may have to turn the water off to the full bathroom while you're working. I do not have permission to install valves here, but I have already, as you can see, change the supply lines. And this is the time to open the hot and cold and make sure there's no pressure in the line, no residual water, so when we pull off that fixture, no water goes flying. Now, as you can see, this is a complete failure because there is no clearance at all to get that rigid wrench in there, or any wrench for that matter, and so this is where the rigid plumbing tool is going to come in clutch. Not only does it have the reach, but it also has the degrees to be able to move things because it can slip over the supply line. Fun fact, for those of you who are new to the plumbing game or are not sure, the center of the leftmost hole to the center of the rightmost hole and vice versa, if the distance is 4 inches, then you're looking at a center set. If you have a handle and then a space and then the faucet and then a space and then a handle, and the distance is 8 inches from the center of the leftmost hole to the rightmost, you're looking at a wide set. Next, we're going to use our rigid tool to pull off those mounting nuts holding the faucet on. Remember to be gentle and not cross thread anything in case for whatever reason in the world you have to return the replacement sink, the new one, you're going to have to put the old one back in the meantime. So don't break anything until you know it's 100% working. Next, we're going to start working on removing that drain assembly, so we're going to have to work off that trap. It's counterclockwise to remove this piece. Keep in mind that usually you're going to see single compressions, however, there may be double rings. Now with the drain assembly, you're going to hold the shaft still and you're going to turn this clockwise. just because this comes out does not mean that the drain up top is going to be good. Sometimes they're held in with plumber putty or cement. Most plumbers like to use silicone. Next, we're going to be cleaning up that mating surface for the sink, and I mean be gentle. Please, if you have very fine sandpaper, you can use that. Do not use a machine, do not use a rotary, a die grinder, don't come in here with a sander. Just do it by hand, nice and clean. All you want is just a nice mating surface that's even. You don't want to gouge anything, don't get a chisel, nothing like that. This is very sensitive material. Once everything is clean and even, that's all there is to it. And don't forget that drain surface. You're going to need to do the same thing down there. Your new fixture is going to come with a couple of new mounting nuts as well as a gasket. Make sure that that raised edge is pointed toward the fixture while the flat side is pointed down toward the sink. You want a nice even flat surface, and do not forget we've got to silicone the bottom of that gasket to make sure it's a nice smooth sealed finish. Apologies for the blurriness, but once you get a good solid bead going all the way around, be generous, and then you can install it back on your faucet and get that carefully installed in the sink as centered as possible. Once you got that silicone applied, it's going to start setting, so get under the sink and get those mounting nuts on. If you press on the stud too much, you can cause the faucet to fall over, in which case try to hurry and get it centered as much as possible so that you don't see a bunch of those silicone streaks. Next, we're going to apply some silicone to the drain flange and make sure that it sits flush into the sink. Be sure to leave a generous amount of silicone because there may be imperfections in the mating surface and that could cause for a leak later. Again, not crazy gooped up to the point where the threads might catch some of it, because then you could accidentally silicone the threads closed, and if you need to adjust or remove later, that could be a pain. So just enough to get a good seal. Now we're back under here because we now have to install our drain assembly to the threads that are up in there. Make sure that when you're doing this, you don't put crazy amounts of force because you could end up removing the silicone and pushing it straight through the sink. So let's try not to do that. Now you are going to turn the drain body until it's perfectly aligned with the faucet at the rear, because that's where the lift rod is going to come down and it needs to be lined up so everything can be perfect when you're stopping the water. Next up, we're going to be putting in that stopper. We're going to put that hole toward the back so that the horizontal rod, otherwise known as a ball rod, is able to engage the stopper. And don't forget to take off that protective tape that comes from the manufacturer. You don't need it, and it'll probably just end up clogging the drain if it comes off eventually. So be sure to take that off and put it in carefully. Next, we're installing our push rod for the stopper. So you're going to look for the indent behind the sink and install. In this case, it's in the back of the neck almost. So feed it down very carefully and make sure you measure, because some sink assemblies, it may be too long and you may have to either shorten the rod or just get a different assembly. You know, you might have to return the sink and trade it for something else. Back in the down under, we're going to be connecting our push rod to our vertical adjuster. Make sure that you put it into the hole that gives you the most amount of leeway so that you can pull the plunger and push it comfortably. That's up to your preference and also how much space you have from the rear wall to the sink. These things are push connectors, so pretty much as soon as they catch into their mechanism, they click and they let you know that they're in correctly. I did this with one hand, so I gotta appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. Next, once the push rod is connected to the adjuster, you're going to then pull the ball valve into position, but before you do, take off that protective cap. That does not go on, nor would it allow you into the drain body. So carefully, without flexing the plastic too much, make sure that your rod is going to go into one of these holes, and then this is the adjuster for the height. But first, listen for that satisfying click. That's all there is to it. Now, once everything is connected, before you put those supply lines off, give one last adjustment to those mounting nuts. Make sure everything is tight, because once you put your supply lines back on, it's going to be a pain in the butt getting back to them. What I like about this kit is that if for whatever reason the adjuster is too long, you could cut off the section that you don't need and only keep the holes that you do. Remember, you want to measure twice and cut once, so be careful. And if everything comes out correctly, you should be able to push on your assembly and it should open, and you should be able to pull back up and seal. I don't have permission to put valves so they can just service the sink. The cutoff will completely turn off the water for the toilet, the sink, and the shower. So that's just what it is. And if you have the option, change these accordion styles. There's a lot of spots for them to break, especially as they become brittle and old. So do with that as you will. Otherwise, I'm going to get this trap assembled and we're almost done. My battery's about to die. As per the instructions of the manufacturer, they want you to remove the aerator just as a precaution if you happen to have anything musty, crusty, dusty, or rusty in your pipes. You don't want that going up and into the fixture because it can either affect the performance or potentially damage something inside. So go ahead and do that. You can either use an universal tool, or if you happen to have a thread-on type of aerator for a kitchen faucet, for example, you can use a pair of pliers. My mom always taught me to leave a place how I found it or better, so that's what I'm going to do. Just going to give this place a quick cleaning, make sure any plastics, any trash, the old sink assembly, any hair, anything, make sure it's out of here, and so am I. Whew. Stop. And thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, cool. If you didn't, also cool. That's how you get a properly installed sink and something that the tenant's actually going to be used. Because she has arthritis in her fingers and depth perception issues, it sucks to keep banging your knuckles against the back, especially during the winter when your knuckles are all locked up. So enjoy that sink, and on to the next one. And until next time, work smart.